everybody, what's going down? My name is Sonja Marie with Wordlife Astrology, and welcome to this beautiful Monday. It's June 17, 2024. Welcome back to all the beautiful people that get in tune and get involved and leave comments. I'm so appreciative of you. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share this information. And for those who are new, welcome. I appreciate you being here. Again, this is for all signs, right? We utilize the stars to navigate how we should and could and possibly have options to respond throughout our day based on the sign and we are and the charts that we have. You know what I mean? Yo, it's a lot of information coming through, but let it stick where it applies to you so you can be better. You understand? You are made of the stars. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the stars, fresh off my one-woman show called Free Bricks, if you came and supported, thank you. If you missed it this time, it'll be back around. But if you want to continue to support in some kind of way, yo, download the 2 songs that came with this particular show. Yep. I have 2 songs called I See Stars and What available on Apple Music, Spotify, and all the streaming apps going downs. Yo, let me know what you feel about it in the comment section below. And big ups to my boy Stanley Randolph who produced it. He is the bomb, y'all. Find him on Instagram for show if you want some tunes for your own projects. Stanley Randolph, that's his name. Let's get started with the week, y'all. It's going down. This is an interesting week. And again, I don't know if I mentioned this out loud, but in my head, I've been saying to remind myself to say, these downloads are coming through today, y'all. It's so much that I want to talk about. So really, let's get started. This week begins with a Cancer takeover. I don't know if you know, but we've been in this Gemini season, overthinking, reaching, utilizing communication, understanding the need for being social, understanding the need to connect and to say the words and to be precise about the things that we say and read and connect and share informational wise to people. Now, every season has its power. Every season has its highlight. Every season even has its downfalls and the challenges in which we have to work around, okay? So ushering in a new season depending honestly, regardless of what sun sign you are, we have to adhere to the energy that's coming through that helps us to navigate our lives a little bit better. Now, I say have to or should very, very lightly. But here's the thing, and in my belief, if we don't go along with the flow of the seasons and the information that's being shared with us, oftentimes that's when we as humans rock our own boat. That's when we as humans block our own blessings. That's when we as humans use fear as a shield because we're not ready for the season. So understand this, with Cancer season about to roll on through, and today being Monday, Mercury and Venus going into Cancer energy, it's about to be a Cancer takeover. So today, being Monday, June 17th, the moon, we always talk about the moon in a particular sign because it helps to govern our emotions and our emotional response to things. And at the very least, the people's emotional response that are around us, we can be a little bit more in tune on what's going down, you dig? So pay attention to the moon being in a particular sign. The moon in Scorpio today suggests that people will be a little emotional, will be a little deep, maybe a little contemplative, maybe not quick to react to things that you need and or want because they have sat back for a moment or two to understand it, to observe the emotional energy and the emotional importance that it comes with responding. The moon in Scorpio can respond very passionately and very determined, but oftentimes it pulls back for a quick second to assess if I should go hard or I should just mind my business. So keep that in mind with the moon in Scorpio. Also, as it moves fiercely and when it decides to do something, understand that that moon in Scorpio can plague people in a way, or I should say rub people. That's a better way of saying it. Rub people in a way in which we're being a little controlling. We don't want to come off controlling. The point is come off determined. Once you make a decision and you say, this is how I feel, this is what I want to do, you can move with intensity as opposed to controlling people and situations around you. energy. You dig what I'm saying? It's very much a distinctive thing, and I want you to pay attention to that today. Let's talk about the other stuff because it's going down. With Mercury being in Cancer until July 2nd of this year, and with Venus being in Cancer until July 11th of this year, these two vibrations will come in Cancer strong, meaning we will feel passionately, this is all Venus, feel passionately, we will make our money, we will see the value in all things in a Cancer-like way. It's time, in my opinion, especially being a Cancer sun myself, it's time to slow down, to feel, to navigate a person's emotions, including your own, again, by being in tune. That Cancer crab has these wonderful antennas on its body, on its device, to detect what's going out before it even reaches it. Sometimes that's a blessing and sometimes it's sort of a curse, so to speak. But the bottom line is that Cancer intuition and intensity to pick up on things is highlighted, especially during Cancer season, which will roll in. But when Venus is in Cancer, you're able to pick up on who loves you and who does not. You're able to pick up on what's valuable, what's necessary, and what is not. Sometimes, especially in Cancer energy, there's no real explanation. There's no rationale. There's no Gemini-like information, which we're leaving out that season, right? To give you reasons, explanations, show up how you are, right? Cancer says, I don't know. I just don't feel it. That Cancer Venus says, I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. Well, why not? Because I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it. Mercury in Cancer acts the same way. Again, Mercury being the intellect, Mercury being how you decide things, how you plan things. It's being slowed down on some level and definitely emotional on some level to feel the things that you're thinking about, to feel the things that you are talking about. Before you make a decision, allow it to go through your emotional body, your emotional intelligence before you spew out any information from the brain. That's Mercury. This is a beautiful water takeover because oftentimes, again, before we even slide into the season, and that's when the sun goes into Cancer, right? But it's a beautiful little takeover because it's like initial waves of saying to everybody, yo, listen to what people are saying, be caring, be understanding, value what people really, really mean, value what people's hearts are pouring out as. This is the moment in which we can begin to practice being a little bit more vulnerable, if not with ourselves, definitely with ourselves, but absolutely could be with other people and have that reflect what it is you feel about yourself. Am I saying too much? The bottom line is, in order to really be happy, in order to really feel fulfilled from an emotional standpoint, what this Cancer takeover is going to say this year, you got to know it for yourself. You have to claim it for yourself. You got to think that way, Mercury. You got to feel that way passionately and determined in a determined way with Venus being in Cancer. Y'all getting this? I'm over explaining because it's necessary. Yo, there's so many things that's going on this Monday, about 5 to 7 aspects I'm not even listing today. Why? Because it's too much to talk about. And also because this Cancer energy is going to be the real takeover that they ask you to pay attention to, and all these other aspects will fall in line. However, there are some things that I want to point out to set this day off in the best way possible. Before Mercury goes into Cancer, I know I just bigged it up, but before Mercury goes into Cancer and before Venus goes into Cancer, there will be a nice Mercury-Venus in Gemini standoff. Right? So before we become compassionate and understanding, we have to get nice and right with the intellect that we decided on, the decisions that we decided on. At the very least, look at the information that was given to you in this Gemini period and have it make sense before you move to the next layer, to the next season, to the next plateau of feeling it through. I love astrology because when you understand it, you use it for your own advancement. So now that we got the invitations, now that we got the information, now that Mercury in Gemini will conjunct Venus in Gemini on Monday, we can go over through the information before we actually feel it. That's your homework today. Any contracts, anything that came across your desk within the last couple of weeks, any new information that you received, make sure you are all right with it. Any decisions that you need to make sure you stand firm in it. Because when the doors and the gates open for Cancer emotion to get on you, you're going to need to feel solid within yourself to move forward from an emotional perspective, you dig? Or else you can get a little weepy through this season and feel like you didn't treat yourself right. Does that make sense? Also today on Monday, the moon will square Pluto going retrograde in Aquarius, okay? Use the power of observation to change even though you can't move. Watch it till it's time. The reason why I put that in my notes is because the moon being in Scorpio, squaring Pluto in Aquarius. Remember, the observation of that moon wants to look at Pluto's need to transform in a way that it never transformed before. So the power of observation means there's some X-ray vision that you need to have with yourself, with other people, meaning there's some powerful things that you need to change within yourself. Addictions, things that you don't want to uncover. And I'm saying this as to set up what's happening for the rest of the week. I need for you to be honest with you, boo-boo. Today is the day that you really start to become honest. Yeah. Okay, I've lost a couple of pounds. Sonja, I've done good. I got this new job. I'm with this new dude. I'm with this new chick. I'm happier. But do you know, Scorpio is calling you out. You and me. What things that you need to observe from a deeper perspective going into Pluto, which is Scorpio's planet, you dig? The moon in Scorpio is digging at its own ruler in Aquarius. So the bottom line is this, is that the moon has no problem intuitively, emotionally to pick out the things that you and I need to do and that we keep putting a blind eye to it. I'm just saying, watch for more things to transform through, to utilize power through, to discover and rediscover your own power in by looking at it. Moon in Scorpio says, observe that thing. Because the more you put blinders on, the more you're going into denial. And the longer it's going to take for you to change and stop being a victim that you think you are. Nobody's a victim. You got to look at yourself and see the things that you're not changing that's involving the same reactions from people and situations that seemingly want to take you down. What are you creating? That's the real deal. It's time to change. The last aspect of Monday is the moon in Scorpio will be in opposition of Mars. Now, this is perfect based off what it is we just spoke on. Because if the moon in Scorpio is saying, yo, you got to go deeper, even the stuff you don't want to admit to, boo-boo, Mars saying, okay. Let's do this in a calm way. Mars in Taurus is our ally to get these last little bit of crustaceans out of our eye. I did say crustaceans, right? You got shrimp in your eye. The little crusties out of your eye. Mars says, all right, come on now. We got to move, even though we're moving calmly. Even though we're moving methodically, even though we're moving patiently, that's Mars and Taurus. But I need you to move nonetheless. I did my best to keep you going. I did my best to be patient, Mars and Taurus wants to say. But you got to get that crust out your eye. You got to make that incredible yawn and get going. Because Mars and Taurus, although it moves quickly, it moves assuredly. It's time to go. On Tuesday, the moon stays in Scorpio, and that's a beautiful thing because it will trine Saturn in Pisces. Ooh, I love this because as I've been talking about, and I pray that those who love astrology and who are enthusiasts are following every time I repeat something because it's important right? That Saturn in Pisces has been whipping our butt in the best way. But here's the thing about it. It's been whipping our butts in a very passive aggressive way. And sometimes people want to flick it. Oh, I'll get back to my spirituality. Oh, I'll get back to my prayers. Oh, I'll get back to talking to God. This is all Saturn in Pisces. Oh, I'll get back to me caring and understanding about people and me forgiving people. Oh, I'll get back to that. Pisces is very passive aggressive in the sense that even though we flick it and we think we getting by on some things, Pisces will come right back around and says, I thought you So with the moon in Scorpio trining Saturn in Pisces, it's saying those things that we've been determined, moon in Scorpio, about digging, about observing, those last little crusts in our eyes and crustaceans and the shrimps and the crabs in our eyes that we don't want to see and stay in denial about. Saturn in Pisces says, I knew you was going to need me. I knew you were going to need the discipline that I've been trying to push on you. I knew you were going to need the hard work of prayer. I knew you were going to need to be solid and quiet in who you are. Because that's Saturn in Pisces too. Sometimes we got to flush out the noise. And with Saturn being in Pisces recently, it's about the discipline of being isolated, the discipline and listening and meditating, the joy, the hard work out of that, and the rewards you get from that. So on Tuesday, the moon in Scorpio says, we can go there. We can get this hard work done. Let's be more determined to get the crust out of our eyes, because that's going to make us even better. We can't stop short at 25 miles when we're almost finished the marathon. We're almost finished this leg of the run, y'all. Wipe it out of your eyes and see yourself and everybody around you clearly so we can move forward. It may be a little tricky on Tuesday to find your power or your power bearings. Why? Because Venus in Cancer will quincunx Pluto in Aquarius going retrograde. Now, all that means is me bigging up this Cancer energy in Venus. All that means is that maybe one or two of you, a few of you, won't see the compassion and the understanding and how it lends to the power change of community. Oh, we can't be too soft on the trans community. Oh, we can't be too soft on black people and black women. Or we can't show them that love, because the power, Pluto in Aquarius, even though it's changing, the power is what we want to hold on to. So we can't give black people power, trans people power, gay people power, Asian people power. We can't give different types of people power when we're trying to hold on and maintain our own power. Well, what Venus, quincunxed in Pluto, is all about on Tuesday is saying, take away the reins of what you think power is really all about. Power can be a whole lot more communal. If you show the love, Venus. If you show the worth, Venus. If you show the light, the love, the passion behind the need to change up the power structure and to give more power to the community as opposed to the 1% of the 1% individuals that run our lives or maybe run your life. Think about it. And on Wednesday, when the moon goes into Sagittarius, you have a time to think about it. The moon being in Sag will bring lightheartedness, fun, optimism, right? But it will also sextile that Pluto and Aquarius go in reverse that I was just talking about. Possibly the moon in Sagittarius will give you the adventure to not only think about how a new community could be within your own community or within the global community, not only think about and find ways to balance out the power structure of Pluto, the authority of Pluto, the change of power, again, and transformation that Pluto is going through. But the moon in Sag says, let's bring the adventure. Let's bring the information. Let's bring the spiritual information that the moon in Sag has. Literally has. Why? Because it's a seeker. and it's always looking for the truth. So the moon in Sag looks for the truth of what our community could be like in a powerful kind of way. Or at the very least, another example, again, flip-flopping back and forth to these different descriptions, at the very least, find the power within yourself. Redefine the power within yourself by utilizing the experiments, the adventure, the optimism that you have in your heart. You think you bomb? You are bomb. Use it. Prove it, share it, in order to change and be a better person for it, in order to reassess where power really lies in your life. On Wednesday, that moon in Sagittarius will be opposite Jupiter. Come on now, in Gemini. So, with the seeking of that power, the moon in Sag is seeking the opposite of that Jupiter information in Gemini. Ooh, as you already may know, if you follow me, I love oppositions. Because with that moon doing its job, again, to seek the positivity and the change that it's making and making on the same day with Pluto, is saying once I seek the possibility and the opportunities, here comes the opportunities. But this is how it's going to look like. It's going to look like words. It's going to look like communication. It's going to look like social environments. The opportunities, the positivity, the skittles from Jupiter, as you go and seek the good times, it's coming to you through contracts. It's coming to you through the things that you say and the things that you may overhear. Again, communication and information. So be that seeker of knowledge and truth on Wednesday for sure. So you can change up the power structure with Pluto. You can also receive the information that's going to highlight your day. Trust me when I tell you, it's out there for the pickings, y'all. Stay out of your own way. On Thursday, with that moon staying in Sag, being nice and harried. Remember, moon and Sag energy is also about road runner energy, always moving quick, doing things, but try to be productive in that as well, okay? That will stay in Sag, having us feel, again, energetic, party-like, staying in alignment with our philosophies and spiritual understanding. But the sun will go into Cancer on Thursday as well at 4:51 p.m. Eastern Time. Happy solar return to all the Cancer beings out there, including myself. Hey, it's about that time, y'all, to get the love on everybody. And here's the difference between Cancer love bombing as opposed to anybody else. You feel it. You feel the love that wants to come through Cancer season. This is probably the only time in which Cancer beings allow themselves to be vulnerable, allow themselves to pour the energy and the understanding and the care and the compassion on people. Cancer loves to be affectionate and doting and protective. You know why? Because it's the great mother of the zodiac, where Capricorn is the great father, by the way. The great mother of the zodiac, Cancer, the sun being in Cancer, wants to share with us the need to nurture and to nourish each other's emotional intelligence. That's the only way we can have real conversations with people. That's the only way in which we feel seen and loved, is by looking at people's hearts and looking at the things that they're saying as opposed to what they're saying. Do you get that? Looking at the words between the words. Some cynical and very realistic and superficial people may not get that so much. Why? Because they base things on superficial fact. Cancer energy says, do yourself and everybody else a favor and lean into people every now and again. Because people only show you what they want you to see. Cancer energy says be a little nosy and be in their heart about it. Because that's what people really want you to see, their heart. Some people just don't have the emotional fortitude to give it. Cancer makes you pull that thing on out. Cancer energy makes you cry, emote, fall apart, get rebuilt. Cancer energy is very, very strong because it's the leader of the water signs. It's a cardinal water sign, you dig? Y'all don't know how strong water is. So, I oftentimes do this, but before that sun goes into Cancer, understand this, on Thursday, early morning, there's a battle between that sun and Gemini that's going out of its Gemini phase, right? And it wants to square Neptune in Pisces. With the sun in Gemini, before it goes into Cancer on Thursday, squaring Neptune, there's a little confusion. So we may wake up on Thursday feeling that Cancer energy coming in strong. Almost like a mother calling you from the other room. Hey, Sonja. Hey, such and such. Come on in. I got some good pie for you. And before you reach your mother or that mothering voice or that mothering love and hug, by the way, squirrel, Cancer gives the best hugs in the world. Before you feel that, there's a lot of confusion in the brain. Oh my God, did I get things done? Did I put things in their right compartment? The Sun in Gemini squares Neptune to bring in more confusion of, did I do the things that I say I was going to do? Knock off all my lists. I'm confused. Did I call this one? Did I write this down? Neptune is saying, yo, whatever needs to be done and what needed to be done is done. It's over. It's behind us. Don't get confused about it and walk into Cancer season looking all disheveled like, I love y'all, but there's some things I didn't complete in the last season. The things you needed to complete is done, or it will come back around for your approval. So please, on Thursday, don't let your mind run amok, because then you won't be able to understand and or absorb the emotional energy that wants to balance your brain out. You dig what I'm saying? Okay, I'm gonna leave it just like that. Also, by the way, Thursday night, Wednesday night, going into Thursday morning with this Sun square Neptune, there may be a little disruption in your sleep. Do yourself a favor and try to make yourself as tired as possible Wednesday night so you can have a good night's sleep, okay? Because the imagination with Neptune squaring that Sun in Gemini, already a lot of mental energy. There's going to be a battle within your subconscious as well, or could be a battle within your subconscious as well. So make sure you get a good night's sleep on Wednesday, okay? As we move on into Friday, the moon will be in Capricorn. And by the way, it is the first full moon in Capricorn within the cycle. That means on Friday, the full moon in Capricorn will be at 1 degree. And then on July, I'm looking at my notes. And then on July 21st, there'll be another full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees. This is what astrologers call blue moons. When you have two full moons in the same sign, it almost never happens, okay? But when this happens metaphysically, it only means that there's some information, emotional information that's being plagued by the universe that we release, that we let go, because that's what the full moon is about. It's a culmination of emotional energy that needs to be let go. But as you let go of that energy, is looking towards the vibration of the opposite, which is Cancer. How natural is that? So all the Cancer energy that's coming in on us is being replaced by all that full moon Capricorn energy that we need to release, like control. We need to release the need to put people on a pedestal. We need to release our overly ambitious nature. Things happen as they happen. Understand that. We need to release the need to be too pragmatic about certain things. Oftentimes when we're too practical, when we're too stuffy, when we're too serious, we're too busy checking the things and organizing the things that need to happen versus the things that really want to happen naturally for you. You have no idea what God has for you, especially when you have control over your own ambitious narrative. I'm supposed to have this by this time, this by this time, 2.2 kids at this time. You don't know God got a hold of all of this? Release all of that so that Cancer energy can come on in and give you flow. It is the leader of the flow. I can't say that no more than I'm saying it. Friday, look for that full moon in Capricorn to come on in. Get it on ya. Release it all. And I wanted to say this too as a download. The real reason why, squirrel, that this full moon in Capricorn energy is coming in, and I highlighted it on Instagram about people on pedestals. I'm going off my notes and literally paying attention to the downloads that have been plaguing me this morning. With the full moon in Capricorn, there is a need to let go of putting people on a pedestal, especially in this season. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because there's so much desperation that's happening right now. Even you don't know that you're going through it. Your relationships are changing with people because you can't hold on to the things in which you held on to 3 months ago, 3 years ago. They're not that person you can dump on any longer. They're not that person you can borrow money from any longer. They're not that person you get spiritual sustenance from. They're not that person where you can just go to their house and take a nap and then all of a sudden you're recharged and you dump their shit in their house and then you leave. They're not that person any longer. They're not that person to watch your kids any longer. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? These are relationships that are being dismantled. Why? Because a lot of reasons, but I was told to highlight, especially during this full moon in Capricorn season. Why? Because Capricorn energy likes to put people on pedestal. Capricorn people, and especially with Capricorn, this full moon situation, is saying to dead that, end that, release that emotional need to look at people and situations as an example of what it is that you need. It's time that you trust your own walk. You be compassionate and understanding and empathetic to your own dreams, to your own insecurities even. Why? Because if you deal with your insecurities, you're not plagued by somebody else's insecurities and their securities and what they go through. Mind your business. Mind your emotional business. Somebody else is not a moniker for you. I have to say this because it's been coming through so strong that if I don't say it and I don't know who it's for, it definitely could be for me, but it absolutely could be for somebody else, and I had to get that out. Okay, that's enough. On Friday, with Mercury being in Cancer, it will sextile Mars and Taurus. Gotta love that. So again, if you pay attention to this Cancer energy that's coming through, especially in this example and aspect through the mind, Cancer Mercury is basically convincing us to think a little slower, think a little more compassionate, more caring, more loving, more shrewd-like too. Believe that Cancer energy is shrewd in business. People don't get that. That Mercury in Cancer sextiles Mars's need to move, to execute, to penetrate carefully in a solid way, in a fair way, in a determined way. Mars and Taurus, come on now, it will get it done like the bull that it is. So rely on your need to be a little bit more caring. Rely on your need to be and the feeling to work with things a little bit more inclusive to people's feelings and how they want to be seen and represented. Rely on that, because Mars and Taurus says we can handle it. We can make sure everybody wins. It's time for everybody to win as long as we're fair about it and as long as you're operating from the core center, from love center, not from an egotistical standpoint and an overly ambitious or an arrogant standpoint. You dig? Very, very quickly, because I'm taking up a lot of time with these downloads. On Friday as well, the moon in Sagittarius will square Neptune in Pisces. Please do yourself a favor not to get too confused Friday night. And the real confusion will show up you moving too quickly to a thing. Friday night, take your time, because that's when it'll hit Neptune. Friday night is when the moon in Sagittarius says, let's be harried, let's move, let's get things done, let's be truthful, let's be blunt. It can hit up against Neptune as saying, chill out. Subconsciously, we may not be ready for this. Subconsciously, you may not have, the understanding behind it. Subconsciously, people may be a little emotional about the thing. Don't allow your need to be harried and your reactions to be harried to confuse your imagination or your care behind a thing. Okay? Take your time. Pipe down Friday night. Keeping it moving. On Saturday, the moon stays in Capricorn, okay? That moon will trine Mars like that. The moon in Capricorn will trine Mars and Taurus. So again, you're getting another propulsion, another push with Mars energy to complete the things that you're thinking about, with that Mercury in Cancer, but also in this situation with the moon being in Capricorn. The moon in Capricorn is saying, yes, I need to end those things. Help me, Mars. Help me to end those things. Help me to practically be able to understand myself. Help me to practically to be able to understand and affirm my own confidence so I don't have to put people on a pedestal. Help me to find the information slowly, surely, and assuredly. That's what Taurus and Mars is saying. I will get you to the finish line of your own understanding instead of putting people on the pedestal, you dig? Come on now, and come on Saturday. Okay, on Sunday, that moon stays in Capricorn and it will sextile Saturn in Pisces. Gotta love that. Of course, I'm bigging up Saturn in Pisces one more time because it's bringing the discipline of spirit one more time. So if the moon in Capricorn says, yes, I agree, sextile with Saturn and being in Pisces, like, yes, let's do this thing. Because remember, Saturn is Capricorn's planet. I don't want to confuse you, but the moon being in Capricorn is hitting its own planet in a favorable way. There's work to do Sunday, especially within yourself. Celebrate your own spiritual discipline that day. Also, on Sunday, the moon being in Capricorn will trine Uranus in Taurus. Yes, so the moon in Capricorn says, and I'm promoting change and individuality and all the things that we need to do in order to be what? Weird and move forward into the future. Let's go. And lastly, the moon will sextile Neptune. Come on now. Neptune has been beaten up the last couple of days. So here comes our imagination back on Sunday evening. Here comes our need to release the clouds and not be confused too much longer, but celebrate the fact that our imagination, celebrate the fact that our subconscious, our artistic abilities, musical abilities, the things that we pull from the ether are worthy, cuz they are worthy. So stand true on what it is you want to do and what you feel, because again, if you can see it, it's yours. Y'all know that saying. If you can see it, believe it, you can achieve it. And that's the week for y'all. Let's get into the card. I love my relationship with spirit. I probably said this word a good 5 times with this Cancer energy rolling on in. The card of understanding. Come on, y'all. The bird pictured on this card is looking out from what seems to be a cage. There is no door, and actually the bars are disappearing. The bars were an illusion. And this small bird is being summoned by the grace and freedom and the encouragement of the others. It is spreading its wings, ready to take flight for the very first time. The dawn of a new understanding that the cage has always been open and the sky has always been there for us to explore can make us feel a little shaky at first. It's fine and it's natural to be shaky, but don't let it overshadow the opportunity to experience the lightheartedness and adventure on offer right there alongside the shakiness. Move with the sweetness and the gentleness of this time. Feel the fluttering within. Spread your wings and be free. Ashe. Ashe, ashe. And must I say it one more time, that every zodiac constellation, every energy has its power. And the power of Cancer energy is to understand and to comprehend the emotional abilities and sensations of another. And once you do this, others lend that same understanding to you. Seriously, it's a two-way street. So open up and be free. Find yourself yet again and again and again and again. Because it's time to fly, y'all, without holding anyone's hand. Have an awesome week, okay? Enjoy yourself and enjoy my new music, I See Stars and What, available on all streaming apps right now. Take care of yourself, and I'm sending you a big, big Cancer hug. Mwah. Adios.